Whoever was in charge of the 2024 AJ Foyt driver lineup must have been aware that I was intending on coming back to YouTube this year, because in all honesty, the vast majority of their notoriety this season will be me comparing their drivers to various war crimes. Santino Ferrucci remains with AJ Foyt going into 2024, piloting the number 14 Sexton Properties car. If we're honest with ourselves, with a Barnet like that, it will be the only sex he gets all year. Pretty rough joke to make given the fact he's getting married soon, but come on, it wrote itself. Ferrucci will be partnered by IndyCar legend Stingray Robb, who is most commonly found mistaking other drivers for Steve Irwin. Alright guys, sorry, maybe that one was a little bit too far, and I know it was a manta ray. You can stop unleashing your wrath in the comments. If you're unfamiliar with these two drivers, pretend you're a passenger in one of their cars, and make sure you strap yourselves in, because today we're discussing AJ Foyt's driver problem. So if you're not aware of Santino Ferrucci's previous endeavours, you probably have a life, and don't spend hours a day researching topics for YouTube videos. When it comes to talent, there's actually not too much wrong. He secured an impressive P3 result for AJ Foyt at the Indy 500 last year, so there is hope regarding his performances next season. Outside of that, he's just a bit of a prick. His woes began in karting back in 2012, when he had a disagreement with a fellow driver. Instead of taking the usual approach of dealing with conflict maturely, he decided to channel his inner George Foreman and punch the crap out of his competitor. And he doesn't even make good paninis to soften the blow. That was a George Foreman grill joke. The next notable thing to happen within Santino's career was becoming the Haas test driver in 2016, which made complete sense since, with Grosjean at the wheel, they needed to practice fixing the car. Santino faced hate for this since he hadn't really demonstrated any notable pace up to this point. In other words, his CV was relatively empty. But Haas must have seen that he was a bare-knuckle champion and needed someone to smash in Gunther Steiner's door. Santino made a surprise move to F2 with Trident, where he would attempt to run the Make America Great Again slogan on the side pod of his car. Obviously, the FIA didn't allow this, since you're not allowed to push political agendas within the sport. I find it ironic that he supported someone who wanted to build a wall, when his career was based off trying to avoid them. This was made worse when his dad was openly racist about his Indian teammate Arjun Maini. There were no ramifications for this, however, so Santino, in an effort to make it worse, decided to physically ram into Maini in the cooldown lap of the Silverstone feature race. When called to the steward's room, Ferrucci must have thought he was auditioning for the next Fast and Furious movie, since he claimed that he had an important family meeting. This secured him a 2-race ban, with Trident eventually dropping him from the team entirely. Here we are 5 years later, and Ferrucci is entering his second full-time IndyCar season. Credit where credit's due, he's found a way to avoid drama so far. However, his history within motorsport is far from something to be proud of, and let's just say he's not exactly a fan favourite. Stingray Robb, on the other hand, is actually the complete opposite, meaning that he's a lovely guy but just can't control a race car. Fortunately, he never breaks anything because Stingrays don't have bones. Stingray's best result last season came at the final round in Laguna Seca, where he picked up a P12 with Dale Corn Racing. The rest of his season, however, was comparable to World War I. The start of his IndyCar career was rough to say the least, with many incidents, including a high-speed crash at the Texas Motor Speedway and a collision with his teammate David Malukas at the Indy GP, of which he labelled himself to blame for ending the entire team's race before lap 3. He also crashed in the Indy 500, beginning a string of cautions which changed the race dramatically. Despite the fact that he couldn't get the ball rolling last year, AJ Foyt must have seen some promise in order to sign him for this season. Either that, or the RSPCA promised them a pretty decent payout for promoting an endangered species. With no Devlin DeFrancesco in the field next season, it will be Stingray Robb that we now look to for an incident when our favourite drivers could do with a well-timed caution. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I wanted to go back to my roots for a video and make a more compact, light-hearted, comedic assessment on the topic, since all of the jokes write themselves with this one. If you find yourself watching my videos at the moment and haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and I will see you in the next video. But until then, I've been DylanJamesGP, take care and I'll see you in the next one.